All right, you guys ready for some Diablo lore? Yes? I'm excited that you guys are looking forward to this lore. I've been really liking it too. I think Rhykker does a really good job. And I feel like this stuff is fascinating. You always love the lore. Lore is one of those interesting things when getting into a game series, movie series, TV shows, or anime. Yeah, Matt, absolutely. You find all this insider info you might not know by just playing the game. Oh yeah, lore always helps, I think, people get into a game like you were saying, Matt. You know, helping you get attached to the characters, especially the NPCs and the story. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so to catch you guys up, if you missed it, yesterday we reacted to part 1 of this lore series that Rhyker's doing, and it is the fall of Lilith and the rise of the Ancients. That's this one. All right, so let's check it out. Part 2.
Fresh meat.
Hey folks, this is Rhykker with another Diablo lore video. This is part 2 in a series where we explore the major players in the world of Diablo. From the Nephilim, to Tyrael, to Deckard Cain, to Diablo himself. And we give a crash course on what exactly is going on story-wise in this game series. There's so much really cool lore in Diablo, and we really get an incomplete picture just basing ourselves on the in-game events. So in our first episode, we spoke about the creation of angels and demons. And no, not the Dan Brown novel. We spoke about their eternal conflict.
Remember I brought up the Dan Brown novel? This is the book I was talking about, Angels and Demons, which, by the way, if you haven't read, fantastic book. But yeah, completely separate. But what was the name of that daddy guy? He was like the first, what did they call him, Aaron? Dan Brown. He was the first, gosh, what do they call him? He'll probably mention it right now. But it was the demon, and it was like the first being or something. What was it called, Aaron? And his name was really cool. Tamalith? What was his name? You know what I'm talking about? Oh man, Dash, if you want heartstrings, then you definitely have to check out Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's the top 5 of the anime for sure. Tathamet! Yes, Husker, Tathamet. And what was he again? What was his title? He was like the first being or something. I don't know, let's see, he'll probably mention it right now.
Literally named the Eternal Conflict. And we spoke about how rebels from both factions came together to create the world of Diablo, Sanctuary, and subsequently humanity, by getting it on. So let's revisit and expand.
Whenever Rhykker describes somebody, you know, up to something not A, let's say, he either does some weird gesture or he just makes it so awkward. Oh, adorable.
And on that last part, not the sex, just So we had the angel Inarius and the demon Lilith make sweet, sweet love and give birth to a new race, the Nephilim, the ancestors of humanity. Other angels and demons also procreated to give birth to more of these Nephilim. So let's talk more about these Nephilim now. They were immortal, just like angels and demons. And the first generation of Nephilim would come to be known as the Ancients. And it's believed that there were thousands, possibly tens of thousands of these ancients. Modern-day accounting or Proto-Roman census-taking hadn't yet been invented, so the numbers are kind of sketchy. So these ancients set out to explore the world of Sanctuary, eventually developing into very distinct cultures. Now, unfortunately for the Nephilim, their angelic and demonic parents realized, hey, wait a minute, these guys are stronger than us. Somehow, the bonding of angel and demon produced an offspring that was more powerful than either. Case in
our powers combined!
Point, in Diablo 3, you play as a Nephilim and you're strong enough to kill thousands of demons. So the angels and demons of Sanctuary got into a massive lover's spat over whether or not the Nephilim needed to be destroyed. After all, these Nephilim may one day pose a threat to their parents.
We've
or they could
them
somehow
and
make the high heavens and the burning hells aware of the existence of Sanctuary, and make it less of a sanctuary and more of a cosmic public toilet. So Inarius, the ruler of Sanctuary, took this matter under serious consideration, and he was leaning towards killing all the Nephilim. But he wanted some time of quiet contemplation to deliberate. Now Lilith, on the other hand, realizing that the genocide of her children was on the table, became the universe's first protective mother bear, and flew into a rage, slaughtering every other angel and demon in Sanctuary.
This is just, again, why Lilith is so freaking badass. I mean, she would just rage and, like, kill everything. Prime evil, yes, I think that's what it was. Was Talameth one of the first prime evils, I think? Possibly? I think that's what it was.
While Inarius was off at the lake house contemplating. Now, to be fair, Lilith was not just doing this out of maternal love. Remember, Lilith and Inarius created Sanctuary in the first place to flee from the eternal conflict. But Lilith always believed that they can do more than just hide. She thought that they could end the eternal conflict once and for all, and the Nephilim would be the army she would use to destroy the high heavens and the burning hells. Now, once Inarius came back and saw what Lilith had done, i.e. go on a crazy murder rampage, he banished her to the void in the burning hells. Because even though she killed literally everyone else in the world who wasn't a Nephilim, he was still a big ol' softy and couldn't bring himself to kill her back.
Did anybody watch Vampire Diaries? It reminds me of when they turn their humanity off and then they just go like on literally a killing rampage and just kill everything, and then like the other vampires are always like trying to like clean up the mess.
But now, Inarius is alone. No lover, no fellow angels, none of those pesky but tolerable demons, just himself and this new race of beings that he considers abominations, who are now a greater threat to him than ever because he's alone. So Inarius attunes the World Stone to make the power of the Nephilim diminish over time, and then he vanishes from the public eye, like Sean Connery after The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, over success.
How cute! Who's holding Sean Connery's hand there, guys? Look! Look how cute! They're all holding it. Wait, is this from the movie? Is this a picture from the movie? This looks like it'd be like at like a press event or something. Poor Sean Connery. I mean, how old is he? He doesn't look that old. He looks like he's held up by two like strong men. Grandpa! No, seriously. So Anu was the original being and he wanted to be totally pure. So he cast all of the evil out of himself, and that manifested as Taphamet. Very much a ripoff of, the Silmarillion? Whoa, I cannot say that word, Husker. Silmarillion? What is that? You're saying that Diablo is a ripoff of something else? StarCraft is your favorite game, though? He really is old now? Wait, how old is Sean Connery? Wait, stop. Sean Connery. How sad. He's not that old, is he? 1930? Wait, okay, how old is he? Tell me how old he is. Usually it says how old he is here, so we need some quick math. 1930. How old is he? Somebody quick. Oh gosh, he's tall. 6'2". Quick math! Quick math! How old is he? So Maryland book by J.R.R. Tolkien? I know who that is. Or Lord of the Rings, yeah. Weird. I've never heard of that. Was that before Lord of the Rings? How sad, man. He's no longer with us. No! Sean Connery's not with us? Wait, what? No. Guys, I didn't know Sean Connery was no longer with us. Oh, no, guys. Poor Grandpa. Guys, no. This makes me so sad. Oh my gosh, this is horrible news. It's like supplementary material of Lord of the Rings. It's a lore dump, so to speak. Oh, how cool, Husker. Wait, so it's all the lore on Lord of the Rings in a book? That sounds absolutely fascinating. That sounds really cool, especially if you're a big Lord of the Rings fan. Dang. Okay, rip Sean Connery, guys.
For
so
the League
sad.
of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Over successive generations, as the Nephilim spread civilization throughout Sanctuary, their power gradually weakened. So they're all spread apart now, forming different cultures in different regions in Sanctuary.
That is so cool. I mean, that is very, again, relatable to something that would happen in real life, right? All these different, beings, if you will, like go their separate ways and develop their own cultures and stuff. I think that is so cool.
And without the internet, there wasn't any way for them to really stay connected information-wise. So some of the Nephilim knew why they were getting weaker, but many didn't, some even believing it was some kind of a plague. As the Nephilim weakened, so did their civilizations, and they fell into a dark age. Eventually, the Nephilim weakened to the point of becoming mortals, giving rise to humans, who were unaware of the truth of their ancestry beyond myths and legends.
So
and
that's
no
where
one
it came
believes
from.
those.
You do believe me, don't you, Leah?
I always knew they were just stories. Uncle Decker died for those stories.
By the 3rd century,
Also, can we please just get some Fs in chat and F-Jam for Deckard Cain being killed off in not even a cutscene?
of Sanctuary's existence, it was believed that there were no Nephilim anymore. Now, I'm not saying that's the truth, I'm saying that's what was believed. Totally not foreshadowing here. But now let's talk a bit more about some of the ancients, the first Nephilim. Who were some of the major important ones that we knew about? Well, there's everyone's favorite ancient, Bolcathos, aka the Immortal King. It's difficult to play Diablo 2.
Oh, dang! like, look at this beast! Holy shit! What is on his belt? Is that like some demon skull? Holy shit! Wait, what? This guy is a freaking daddy for sure. Also, can I just say, am I the only one listening to this lore and feeling like this would make a fantastic, like, live action series? Like, just imagine how freaking epic this show would be if it was on, like, the level of, like, Game of Thrones or something, and they had, like, some, you know, freaking amazing actors, amazing writing, and they just developed this whole thing into a series to watch. Oh my gosh, with special effects and stuff, and, like, you know, and I love, like, old school costumes, too. Like, back in the day, even before special effects, when they actually, like, made the creatures, like, with, you know, like, the original, like, Yoda, right, in Star Wars, like, he was actually, like, a puppet, but he looked so much more real than the digital version. Don't you agree? I don't know. I think that'd be so sick. You thought that, too? But then I saw how bad the Warcraft movie was? Okay, stop. No. Okay, I won't comment on that, because I did see it a while ago, but, it was, I don't know. I like the actors, so, like, I don't want to hate on it too much, but it wasn't what I envisioned it would be. But that being said, I'm talking, like, way more not Disney. Not that that was Disney, but, you know, like, very, like, family oriented. I'm talking about, like, something deep, something dark, something very adult, right? You know, because these are adult themes in here. I mean, there's, like, death, destruction. There's, like, you know, people... how did Rhykker put it? Getting it on. Like, there, you know, there's all this stuff going on. Very violent, right? I feel like if they did it, like, on, like, an adult level, like, maybe HBO did it or something, I don't know. I feel like it could be so freaking sick. You mean special effects? CGI is where we're going wrong. Oh, yeah. That's what I meant, Salmon. That's what I meant. Yeah. You really think Activision is going to put the money out for competent writers and solid budgets? Stop it. You never know, you know? Plus, you know, I think there's a lot of unknown talent out there. You know, people that might be gamers themselves that are passionate about this kind of thing, like the lore, the story here. And if they, you know, if they sat down and wrote the script, let's say, and then they maybe got some, you know, they did like a GoFundMe or something. Maybe they got some actors on board. Maybe they got some people involved. And then they presented it to Activision, you know, maybe they would sign off on it. Maybe they would put some money behind it or be okay with it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm getting really excited here just thinking about this possibility, but I feel like this would be literally amazing. No, it's okay. CGI is hot garbage and being used to make special effects look good, but should never be used alone unless it's an animated movie. Oh, I agree with that. I feel like they should take like again, about like the creatures and stuff, like make like a, okay, do you guys... Aaron, you watch Walking Dead, right? You know Greg Nicotero, Aaron? You know, the guy who's behind all the zombie, like, makeup and all that? I mean, he's, like, so passionate about what he does, right? He's, like, so good. I mean, I feel like he's the perfect person for that job. He's super, super passionate about it, and he really brings this stuff to life. Somebody like that to do the base, right? Like, the basic... whatever it's going to be, this creature, this scene, like this blood, whatever it is. And then they add special effects to it, but they don't rely, like you said, Sam, 100% on the special effects. Like they use it to add to it and give it more layers and, you know, give it that little bit more realism. But, you know, the CGI deer, oh my gosh, Aaron, stop. let's forget about that.
2 or 3 without being somewhat aware of Bolcathos, the name. Maybe you figure he's a barbarian god or something.
Oh,
and
yeah,
in many ways, he did become something of a deific figure to barbarians. Basically, while other ancients were spreading out throughout Sanctuary, Bolcathos remained at Mount Ariat, that protective shell around the World Stone. And he rallied his people to devote their lives to protecting the World Stone. Bolcathos believed in strict martial training, the way of the warrior. He organized the disparate tribes in the area and ensured that they would protect Mount Ariat for generations to come. And these tribes came to be known as the Children of Bolcathos, and better known as barbarians. Thus the origin of the barbarian class in D2. But Bolcathos wasn't alone amongst the ancients in sharing a desire to have their people devote their lives to fully protecting Mount Ariat and
I should have guessed that. I mean, he looks like a freaking barbarian, didn't he? Like, he totally had that look, 100%. Makes total sense.
Preserving the secret knowledge of the ancients for generations. Enter Fiaclager. And the lore is a little sketchy here, but it seems like this is the same person as Vasily. Depending on how you interpret things, since they're mentioned in different sources, they could be 2 different people, but they very much seem to fill the same narrative role, so for our purposes, we'll just assume that they're one and the same, going by different names.
Again, it must have taken so much research to find out all this information. Like, I give him super props for piecing it all together and, like, making this all, like, you know, something we can digest, if you will. But dang, does anybody know if he's pronouncing the names correctly? I mean, he sounds like he knows. Like, he sounds like he's speaking it like he knows these people real life. I mean, he's doing a great job. It sounds right to me. But gosh, I'm trying to picture how this would be spelled, some of these names. And I don't think I would be able to pronounce them. But gosh, so many cool names, whether it's like a location or a person. Really cool names here.
So Fiaclager was the brother of Bolkathos. And again, it's not really clear whether they're actual brothers or more of like, I love you, bro. So while Fiaclager and Bolkathos both had a unified purpose, they disagreed somewhat on how to implement that vision. While Bolkathos opted for the warrior path, Fiaclager believed in attaining spiritual oneness with the land that they were sworn to protect. You know, hippie crap. In a surprising twist, rather than fight each other over their vastly differing philosophies, they both agreed that the other—
Oh my gosh, Parlin! Poor Rhykker, guys! Rip Rhykker again. Yesterday, people were saying his shirt bothers me or something, and then somebody else— I don't know what it was. Now today, his beard is disappointing. Poor Rhykker, guys. Do we need to start a Leave Rhykker Alone movement? Oh my God. The poor guy. It was his hat, not his shirt. Oh, his hat. Whatever it was. Poor Rhykker just being picked apart. You guys are the worst. Oh my gosh. Not like Dark Souls with the lores in the description. Thank you for spelling description correctly. Also, are you making fun of me, Salmon, because I never read the item description that was fully there in Dark Souls? Yes, it depends on what language the names were inspired from. Ooh, you know what, Aaron? That's cool. You know what? Some people, I think you, Aaron, mentioned this yesterday, and then some people on YouTube were confirming that a lot of the lore is actually derived from the Bible. Like, a lot of it is, like, inspired by the Bible, or, like, certain things actually, you know, are in the Bible, then they, you know, they became present here, maybe in a different form, but kind of like, you know, that's where it came from, like the Hephalum and stuff. Hephalum. Again, I want to say Heffalumps, and it was the Ephalum. Am I saying that correctly? Like that, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if some languages were inspired from maybe something IRL. The Nephilim. Thank you, the Nephilim. Thank you, Cho. It's actually pre-Diablo 1 lore right now. You're right, Husker. He did say he was starting in the very beginning. No, he's the Reaper of Beard Hair. The Reaper of Beard Hair. Oh my gosh.
Others' way of doing things had merit. It's almost as though it's possible to share vastly different opinions on important matters and still appreciate and get along with someone. And I think we can all learn a lesson from this. And that lesson is, video games are make-believe and you shouldn't be deriving life lessons from made-up fantasy stories. Anyway, so while Bolkathos was uniting the tribes, Fiaclager gathered a small group of the best shaman and warrior poets around. Yes, warrior poets. They wrote really scathing limericks. And he led his group to the nearby forests of Skosglen, where he founded the first Druid College. It's actually in the current season of Diablo 3 that we see the first in-game reference to Fiaclager. They're the wings you get for completing a certain part of your season journey. Do we have any other ancients?
Did you see that weapon? I mean, yeah, the wings are awesome, but did you see that weapon? Oh, jeez.
Responsible for the creation of any other Diablo classes? Yes. The answer is yes. Another ancient named Essu became a master of elemental magic, and her followers would go on to become sorceresses. We'll talk more about sorceresses someday. The only other major thing we know about Essu is that she sought control of the World Stone, in direct opposition of Bolkathos, and this caused something of a conflict, a civil war, if you will, among the Nephilim, which was ultimately won by the defending faction. Another ancient was named Thelios, and he fell in love with an angel named Lycander. When Lilith began murdering—
What was that, a picture of food? Wait, was his name based on food? What was that? Looked like Soul Edge. You recognize the weapon? Fun fact, Japanese samurai were also warrior poets. A lot of them were educated in poetry. And they'd write poetry? I love that.
Bring all the angels and demons in Sanctuary, Lycander fled back to the high heavens. But in true fashion of a classical age romance story, Thelios and Lycander were deeply in love and found a way to stay in contact. through an artifact called the Sightless Eye. Unfortunately, once the other angels realized that Lycander was constantly texting someone, Lycander urged Philios to hide the Sightless Eye, and he begrudgingly did so on the island of Scovos. Philios eventually took another lover, a human woman named Ascara, and they had twin daughters.
Ascara!
These daughters would go—
We know who Ascara is, right? Wait. Is that who I'm thinking of, guys? Wait, is that the one in purple? Wait, is that who it is? Wait, hold on. Diablo. It's not her! Wait, what? It's not her? Wrong person? Okay, what is her name? Because I feel like their names are insanely similar. Tell me they're gonna be related. Maybe she'll be one of the... Did he say sisters? It's not... Isn't that what he said? Akara? Oh my gosh. So similar. They're different people. Akara and Ascara, tell me they're related. Tell me they're related. Dang, guys.
Go on to find the Sightless Eye, and thereafter found the Ascari civilization, better known as the Amazons. You may recognize mention of the Sightless Eye from Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and the Scovos Isles from annoying NPC chatter in Diablo 3.
That looks so sick!
But those are topics for another day. Now, before we talk about other ancients, I'd like to talk about the ancients that we mostly think of when we hear the term the Ancients.
Yes!
I think most Diablo players, when they hear the term the Ancients,
right?
think of the three protectors of Mount Arreat in Diablo 2, who are the same three ancients that you summon using Call of the Ancients with your Barbarian in Diablo 3. Well, it seems that these three ancients aren't really ancients. If the definition of ancients we're using is the first generation born from Angel and Demon, then neither of these three are ancients. Not Talek, the sword and shield dude.
Look at the feet! Look at the feet, guys! Oh shit! Okay, who the heck is this? And look at his feet!
Not Madoc, the crazy double axe guy, and not even Korlik with the polearm. But let's talk briefly about these three anyway. So Talek the Defender, the sword and board guy, grew up hearing legends of Mount Arreat, which implies that he wasn't one of the original Nephilim. Since then, the stories he'd be hearing wouldn't be legends, they would be the 6 o'clock news. When he was 19, at which point he already had a wife and child, there was a knock at his door one day, and two Jehovah's Witnesses, basically, asked him to give up everything and go defend Mount Arreat. He said no. The two then said that they were sent by the Ancients, who had specifically picked him to defend Mount Arreat, and he said, okay. He turned to his wife and kid, said he was heading to the store to pick up a pack of cigarettes, and became an Immortal Protector of Mount Arreat. On to Madoc the Guardian, who is basically just some really sketchy old dude that just showed up one day wielding two axes.
Blood on him?
He became a local legend amongst barbarians because he would have prophetic visions of the past and the future. Before a battle, he would sit in meditation, and sometimes he would just get up and leave, not partaking in the battle. People began to believe that he could see the outcome of a battle before it would happen, and
he's just like, I'm out of here,
to follow him. Leaving when he would leave, staying to fight when he would stay. Sometimes Madoc would start a fight with someone with no provocation, claiming to seek justice for crimes that they will one day commit. And one day, Madoc just awoke from meditation, told people that the Ancients were calling him to Mount Arreat to protect it, and left. It was very much an I must go, my people need me moment. Then lastly we have Korlik the Protector, who was the leader of a barbarian tribe. At a very young age, he had tamed a vicious wild beast, and because of that, people said that there must be druid in his blood, implying, just like the other two, that he couldn't be ancient. Now, Korlik was a good man. He once saved a child's life, a child who just happened to be the son of the war chief of an enemy tribe. Without hesitation, Korlik returned the child to its home. And this act brought an end to the conflict between the two tribes. Now, how was Korlik summoned by the Ancients? Korlik's wife, who was the tribe's seer, told him one day that the Ancients had summoned him to go protect Mount Arreat. Imagine your significant other just waking you up one day going, honey, I had a vision. You have to leave forever and never come back. It's like, if you want to break up, just say so. Before Korlik...
Right. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I'm just gonna be like, Lucky, you've been summoned. You must go, Lucky. No more squatting. No more squatting in here.
Korlik could even respond. His wife announced this to the whole tribe, and
before he could even like say okay or yeah, that sounds good, or like, wait, what now? She's just like, yeah, my husband's leaving, like, you know, goodbye. Like, gosh, that does sound very sus, doesn't it?
Declared that they would celebrate until Korlik would leave. That celebration went on for 3 days, presumably until Korlik finally felt peer pressured enough to get out of there. So that's the backstory on the 3 non-ancient ancients, but there are a few other real ancients that we know of. One of which was Kalmor, who was disgusted as he watched subsequent generations of Nephilim become weaker and weaker, and ultimately mortal. He considered it an act of mercy to murder humans, but he was also filled with self-loathing, and he grew to desire the sweet release of death, but couldn't bring himself to end his own life. He was the last ancient to ever live, and we actually kill him in Diablo 3 in a side quest that spawns in the Passage of Corvus in Act 5. Another one of the ancients was named Helgrotha. She watched over nocturnal animals and was kind but firm in her protection.
Epic name.
Her ultimate fate isn't really clear. She's dead, we know that, and it's likely that she was slain by Inarius. Because while Inarius didn't want to destroy all Nephilim, he did destroy those who protested against his plan to weaken all Nephilim.
Sounds so typical, doesn't it? I'm not gonna kill all of you, but you know, if you go against me, well, you're dead.
It was believed that Helgrotha was just as powerful as the very son of Inarius and Lilith. You know, before she was destroyed. And speaking of that son, that's the final ancient that we'll discuss today, Lanarion. The first of the ancients, the first of the Nephilim. He studied the cycle of life and death.
Again, this is like one of those like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, like apparently Wheel of Time, like all these like, it's so in depth. Like how does even the writers, like, you know, the original writers or the original creators of this whole universe, right? Like how do they keep track of all their characters? Like it's mind-blowing. There's so many characters, all their names are so unique, and again, this would be so cool as like a freaking series. Like I just want to watch these characters so I can put a face to each name, and you know what I mean? Like gosh, it's like so much to remember. What's up, Master? How's it going? Master, your picks in the Discord are amazing. How's it going today?
And taught it to others. And over time, he came to realize that the forces of light and darkness would fight forever. The eternal conflict would never end. And that both the light and the dark were threats to Sanctuary.
Like Star Wars,
he was among the Nephilim that were aware of his father's plan, and he rebelled against it by strengthening his own power and amassing followers. But then when he realized that his father was killing those that opposed his plan, he faked his own death and fled to a mysterious nether realm, where he met an entity named Trag'Oul. Lanarion became Trag'Oul's disciple, and from him learned the concept of balance, or the great cycle of being, which seeks to maintain, obviously enough, balance between light and dark, order and chaos.
Anybody else getting Star Wars vibes with Luke going to Obi-Wan and like, you know, or Yoda and like, you know, learning about, you know what I mean? Like, are you getting like some similar, you know, themes here?
Trag'Oul gave Lanarion a new name, a name that meant student. The name Rathma. So who was this mysterious Trag'Oul? What would become of Rathma? Will angels and demons ever find Sanctuary? And if so, what will they do about it? Will Lilith ever escape the void? What's up with Inarius? All these questions and more will be answered as we continue to explore this lore series. Stay tuned.
So good! I'm loving this lore series. I'm just like so invested. I feel like he's doing a fantastic job. I'm learning so much, but at the same time, it's like a lot to remember, you know what I mean? Like, gosh, and I think there's just like a ton. I feel like there's so many of these, so we gotta get caught up on. Like, getting good. Wheel of Time as characters you meet once, and they're randomly pop up again throughout the series. It's glorious. I love that, Sam, and like, you don't know how important a character is when you first meet them, and then later on, you know, they're like, and you're like, oh, it's that person, you know? I feel like, again, that's one of those cool things when you go back and reread, like a book series, or you go back and you watch a show, and you know, see like the first time that a character is introduced, and you know how important they are later once you've already like gone through it. So cool.